What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
People who are going to disown their kids for being LGBT or just being like different from them in terms of like politics and shit shouldn't have kids. If you can't be loving and supportive for your kid, then you shouldn't have them. Parents who use the excuse of, oh, I fed you, I gave you water, I took care of you, I gave you shelter to manipulate their kids also shouldn't have kids. First of all, that kid did not choose to exist. You chose to bring them into this world. Either you decided to do the nasty or adopted or whatever, but you still decided to take care of them. You took on that responsibility. And with that comes the bare minimum of taking care of them in terms of education, food, water, shelter, and generally making sure that they're safe. And to those parents, there's a reason why some of your kids will not talk to you after they leave your house. And no, taking care of your kid does not exclude molding them into a productive member of society. You have a role outside of just discipline.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Some of you aren't going to like this, but I don't care. If your child has expressed to you their disliking in your partner, or if your child has told you that your partner has disrespected them physically, emotionally, verbally, and you're still with that person, you're a shit parent. You're a shitty parent, and that's that. You are selfish, and you don't deserve to have children. Your child's safety is what should be the most important thing for you. And if you can't put your child's safety above your human needs, then you're a shit parent. Like, how can you allow this person to come into your home, your child's home, mistreat them verbally, physically, and do other stuff that they shouldn't to them, while all along at night you go to bed with this person, you lay down and you say how much you love them or how lucky you are to have them, while they're doing this to your child? You're a shit parent. You're a shitty parent.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Good morning, and let me tell you what I think about shitty mothers and shitty fathers. Okay, so basically, these like fucking parents who start having kids in their early 20s or whatever, you didn't do anything with your life beforehand, and now all of a sudden that mothering is such a hard job for you. Shut the fuck up. Sorry that your Sonic job or whatever didn't prepare you for this, but literally, like, anybody who's ever had to actually do stuff in their life before ever having kids and wasn't just like a kid themselves with their parents doing everything for them, they don't find it as much of a thing to bitch about as these moms who are like, I'm just so tired. Yeah, well, maybe you were fucking up partying all the time before you ever fucking had kids. Irresponsible bitch.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
This isn't even an unpopular opinion. This is just a note. I've seen a lot of like parents saying, you're not a parent, you don't have the jurisdiction to speak, you can't have an opinion, and so you're not a parent. Like things like that, and it makes no sense. Because parenting is not a one-way street. You know, parents are parenting children. Everybody may not be a parent, but everyone's been a child. And most people have had some type of parental figure in their lives and have experienced parenting. And the majority of the videos, if you go through these stitches, are people talking about different parenting methods and techniques that they experienced as a child and why they disagree with them or their unpopular opinions about these experiences that they themselves have had. So it's really not the serve you think it is to go, you're not a parent, as if they don't have any valid jurisdiction to comment on this. Parenting is not like a niche profession or some type of privatized experience that a lot of people haven't had access to. Most people have parents. Most people have valid opinions on how their parents raised them. So
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Stop hitting your kids, please. I'm 39 years old and I'm still having trouble maintaining boundaries and being emotionally available because I was spanked as a child. There are no long-term positive effects from corporal punishment. Google it.
Ditch me with your unpopular opinion parenting edition. I'll go first. Recovery was harder.
It's not anyone's job to raise your kids and influence your kids but you. I can't stand you people that always rant and rave about how today's radio and TV and the internet and kids are just so influenced. Yeah, so the fuck were we growing up? What do you think MySpace was? What do you think AIM and instant messengers were? It's just our version of it because we were born in the 80s and the 90s. But I never heard my parents or my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents blame how the shit that we watched and heard on the radio for how we grew up. That's y'all motherfuckers doing that. And it's so fucking annoying. Cardi B and none of these internet influencers and singers and rappers and dancers and actors, none of them signed up to raise your fucking kids. If you're so fucking scared that Cardi B is going to influence your kid, or if whoever's going to influence your kid, why is your kid watching shit like that in the first place? There's the question. But y'all aren't ready for that conversation.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Okay, this could be for first-time parents or for parents that already have kids. When your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whoever is pregnant and you decide that you want to have a gender reveal party and you want to make it a surprise so that you don't know until the moment actually happens what you're having, if that confetti popper goes off and you run away or stomp your feet or freak out because it is not the color that you wanted, you are human garbage. I have seen so many videos of this. Mainly, usually, sorry to call you guys out, but dads-to-be or dads freaking out because the confetti was pink and not blue like they wanted. It's just so embarrassing. You should be happy that your baby is healthy and the gender should not matter.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
Okay, so I've already made a lot of people mad about this within my family and stuff, but I don't care. So a lot of y'all got parenting backwards. And I may be a young parent, but hear me out. Parenting, the role of a parent is to guide a child to their individual destination or through their individual life journey. Now, what most parents do nowadays, the parent role nowadays is, this is what I want for you, so this is what you're gonna do. And that is completely backwards. As a parent, you know, you give your kids a solid foundation in whatever you believe in. And you know, you show them right from wrong, but you do not tell them what they want in life. You do not tell them what to do in life. So parents, your kids are not you. Let them live and guide them along the way.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Okay, before I make parents mad, let's look at the sky. Look how pretty! Okay, now real talk, I'm just gonna be listing out points because I don't feel like elaborating. Spanking your children is not a valid form of punishment. Saying that you turned out fine and then proceeding to do the same to your children means that you did not turn out fine. If you think you are ready to be a parent, but only if they're not gay or trans, you are not ready to be a parent. If you voluntarily and purposefully chose to have a child and become a parent, you are the person that made that decision on your grounds, on your purposes, on your wishes. And that child does not owe you anything. Actually, in any situation, that child does not owe you anything for simply existing and being born. Taking care of your child's basic survival needs is not something that you should be holding over them. I have more, so I'll probably do a second part.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Oh, this one's gonna make people mad. Okay, so hear me out. You shouldn't teach religion to your children. Wonder why? I grew up in a Catholic household. All my family, they are believers. And my mom it's not that crazy, but my grandma, my grandmother, and from my dad and mom's side are very Catholic. And I grew up with so much trauma because of that. I was 9 years old. And I remember that I still love Justin Bieber, but I was obsessed with Justin Bieber. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to hell because I like Justin Bieber. And because you shouldn't have idols, according to the Bible. And my family was like, oh, you're gonna go to hell because of that. You shouldn't like Justin Bieber that much. You shouldn't be obsessed with him. And yeah, that affected me. And not just that, there's so many other things that left religious trauma. So don't do that, please.
Forgive your parents for not being able to love you the way you needed.
No, as a child of a social worker, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I am of a very strong belief that every parent should go to therapy before becoming a parent. It's common knowledge that mental illnesses such as OCD, OCPD, generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and depression get passed down through generations. This includes generational trauma and substance abuse. If you are mentally unfit to go to therapy, you are also mentally unfit to be a parent. Being a parent means you are a role model for whatever child you have. And because children are very impressionable, they're going to mimic your actions and your speech. Not only that, but they're also in their developing process, which means all of your mental illness symptoms will be on top of them too, not just you. Obviously, this can't really be implemented or enforced, and I understand how difficult it is for someone to get therapy and get help. But if you have the resources to raise a child properly, you more likely than not have the resources to go to therapy. Hold your parents accountable. You don't have to forgive them, but you should forgive yourself.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
Oh boy, I got a few, okay? Ask my kid where her Christmas presents come from. She'll tell you her parents. We talk about the spirit of Santa Claus, but we don't talk about how a stranger breaks into her house once a year and it's okay. Also, I don't like lying to her. I let her help me make decisions about her. She's 6 years old, but we've been doing this since as long as she could understand the decision-making process. Instead of just telling her, this is the way it's going to be because I'm the parent and I say so. We make decisions about things as a family, and yes, I honestly take her input into account. And because of this, she's learning compromise and negotiation, and also how to think critically about consequences of her actions. I tell her and apologize to her when I'm wrong, because she needs to know that just because I'm an adult doesn't mean I'm infallible, because when she's an adult, she won't be infallible. We've never used made-up terms for body parts, and she's always known how a baby is made. She also knows all about my personal sexuality and gender journey, so that she can make her own choices. And I love her, but having her taught me that I don't like kids.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad? I'll go first.
Having control over your child's thoughts and feelings does not mean you're a good parent. And most of the time, kids having old souls isn't a good thing either. It probably means you've exposed them to trauma.
What's the unpopular opinion that you have about parenting that you know is going to make a lot of parents mad?
It's never too early for the talk. This is not you introducing sex to them. This is you educating them. Teach them the proper names, not the nicknames, the proper names. Let them know who to come to and what to do if anybody even tries. Make it a safe space very early as they can talk and understand, very early. Take it from a sexual abuse survivor, 9 years old and 11 years old, and I wish somebody had to talk with me. Educate your babies. It's never too early.